watched that movie. I feel like there's... I don't know what this is about. And
No. Fuck that.
I know.
And fuck them.
I know.
And fuck
the
you.
The older I get...
That I learned.
Now what's that?
The ADDH thing.
Yeah?
Yes.
You learned that you have that?
Well, I was accused of having it.
Yeah.
Now, accusation is a strong word. It's not the right word, but it came up in conversation.
I think a lot of adults...
Our age. And older.
Yeah, I mean, there's so many facets to what it's comprised of that it's hard to say that somebody doesn't have it.
Right.
Like, and then
the littlest thing.
And then on top of that, you throw in all of our habitual media intake and the way entertainment is so available to us now. It is almost like you can give yourself ADHD now.
Yeah.
Because of how easy it is to just switch all the time.
Yep. And with that, welcome to the Sequel Podcast. I'm Matt Bonta.
And I'm Cory Easley.
So
I've been doing this thing with the kids recently.
Oh God, are you confessing something?
I read bedtime stories, but I started doing like funny voices.
Mm-hmm.
I always read character voices for each of the stories.
Right.
But I haven't been doing it. And then one day Sammy goes, read this in the funny voice. And it's like, which one? And he
Which
goes,
funny voice?
and I'm like, I don't know which one that is. It ended up being my Gilbert Godfrey impression.
Oh.
And it's loud.
Like Affleck?
Kind of, yeah.
Well, I mean, you made a duck sound.
I don't know. That's the sound he made.
Gotcha.
Just because it's kind of, you know. It's gravelly.
You do a Gilbert Godfrey?
I do.
The late Gilbert Godfrey.
The late. I don't know how good it is, but it's fun.
Are you gonna?
I can do it. I don't know if you want me to just say some shit or.
Well, you know, I remember did a joke that he was doing the audiobook version of 50 Shades of Grey.
Oh my God!
Did you ever see that commercial?
I never saw that
skit or whatever it was.
I started practicing doing it because I watched a YouTube video where these dudes, I don't even know what the name of the channel was, a couple of guys, it's like me and you if we sat down and did it, and they're just getting drunk, and
this sounds familiar.
They go on
like a prank phone call, or?
It's almost like that, but it was a site, it still is a site I think you can go to, and a Cameo type thing,
yeah.
And you write some shit down, and they'll, for however long
I've
it
seen
is,
this.
They'll read it for an amount of money.
Yeah.
And you can have, happy birthday, Matt, all this stuff. Well, they wrote down just all this crazy, stupid shit. And they were, like, talking about snake AIDS. And that's the only thing I remember. So I remembered seeing that. And going, snake AIDS, that's hilarious.
Yeah.
And then they actually get Gilbert Godfrey to read this shit. And he was one of a few of the actors that actually came through that read the things that he wrote, because a lot of people were like, nah, I'm not going to read that.
Right. Even like for the $50.
Yeah, like for $50, that's a little too edgy, and I don't want my voice saying that, right? Mm-hmm. This was before the AI generated shit where you get anybody to say anything now.
I thought about like, oh yeah, Cameo, and I thought about like maybe I can write a letter for a movie, right? Somebody's reading a letter, and then have a person read the letter, and it becomes voiceover on the movie.
That would be an interesting way to get it in the film.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah. So then it became a joke with me and my friend. He showed it to me at work, and I just started practicing Gilbert Godfrey because he says, Snake AIDS! like 50 times in this. So then I start reading children's books in Gilbert Godfrey voice. And one of the favorite books they like to read is If You Give a Cat a Cupcake. And it's a very common children's story. It's been around since we were kids.
Really? And you give a mouse a cookie.
If you give a mouse a cookie, and then the extended universe
is if you
give,
goes deep.
give a cat a cupcake, If you give a pig a pancake is the other one. I think there's another one, but we have the cookie, the mouse a cookie, and the cat a cupcake. But if you give a cat a cupcake,
and he loves it,
they giggle so hard every time I do it.
How about your older one?
Oh, he doesn't care for bedtime stories too much. No. He thinks that Gilbert Gottfried's funny, but he has no idea who it is.
Gotcha. You haven't shown him Problem Child yet.
Yeah.
Story of his life.
You try to... I try to expose him to, like we do, right? You just, start saying lines from a movie.
Right.
And then the other person will pick it up.
Quote it.
And then I'll do it when we're riding in the car, and he just looks at me like, Dad, shut the fuck up.
Oh, no.
You're not funny. And I'm like, what, nothing? Nothing? You have no idea what I'm talking about? So
he's not even a tween yet, right?
Damn near, dude. He's going to be 13 in December.
No shit.
Or no, 12, I'm sorry.
Okay.
So
12, well, he's in middle school then.
Yeah.
Oh, that's bad.
Yeah, start
That's
early
the beginning of the end.
It is.
All right, well, Cory, let's try to get on track. You had a big year this year.
Huge.
We haven't talked to you in a little bit.
It's been a minute.
Probably we did one with Paul.
We did Halloween with Paul last year.
Yes. Oh, we did a pre... No, we did a pre... we talked about school, which is we're going to talk about again today. So, let's start with the first thing. The first thing I think different for you was you were in a play.
Yeah, I did a play. It was a parody of Jaws. Dun, 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 called Shark. It was locally written. Clever. And directed and acted.
Is that why you were asking me for a monologue? Is because I saw that they're doing the Die...
They're doing Die Difficult is the next one, which is the Die Hard parody. And because I'm pretty sure Greg's not going to go out for it. So
he said he wanted to.
He said he wanted to, but he
That was then, this is now.
Well, so he also said his problem with it was he does Nutcracker every year.
Oh, yes.
Nutcracker is a bigger show, and it's a paying gig for him. So I would do the same thing. Like, if I had a job that was like, hey, you want to put in 2 months of solid effort on this show for $100,
mm-hmm.
or do you want to do whatever
$100 a night,
Nutcracker,
you want
to make a couple of grand
right.
doing this show,
right?
Whatever the pay is, I don't even know. But it's a better pay, I know for sure, than this.
And he does it every year,
and he's been doing it. He's got parts that he does every year, and he knows the actors and the directors and all the shit. So
right,
he's familiar with the material. So
he's no spring chicken anymore, as you
know.
That's
true. But
we're all losing that spring chicken thing.
Yeah, we're more like fall turkeys.
I hope my response to your monologue thing didn't seem flippant.
No, it was.
It's just
what I expected somebody to say. I was being lazy. Mm-hmm. It was more of like hey, what do you think would be a good one for me to do? My problem with what you, and I don't have a problem with what you said, but my problem with going in that direction, which is you said, there's a ton of material out there. Just pick something you like from a movie or from film or from a book or from whatever, and do that. And I have this weird hook in my mind from high school where we had to do that. It was I don't think it was memorized.
But back then, the internet wasn't what it was.
That's true.
There was no YouTube where you can bring up a monologue.
It's not that I can't find the material. It's that I'm afraid that I'll pick something that I like, that an actor I like has done, and I'll try to do it like the actor.
Nothing wrong with that.
There's yes and no.
Yes and no.
Because in one way, I don't want to. I feel like it'd be chody, right? If I go out for Die Hard and I try to do a
Die Hard monologue from Alan Rickman,
right?
Hold on.
I feel like that's the wrong thing to do.
Something came to mind just now. Does it have to be? Does it matter?
It does. There's no material. It says contemporary.
They wouldn't rather lean towards comedic.
This is for something else.
Oh, really?
But the idea remains the same.
Okay.
I'll have to have some prepared material.
Oh, does it need to be dramatic then?
No, not necessarily.
Oh, well, because now, never mind.
I
had a comedic monologue in my head from a movie.
And that would probably work for this, for Die Hard, because it is a comedic setting, and that's probably what they want.
Right.
I haven't looked at the requirements for the audition yet for that one. They just posted that they're going to do the auditions next weekend.
Man, this is really picking up.
Yeah, just solid audio, man. You're going to have to fade the levels. And,
no, it's fine.
So
what's
anyway,
this other monologue
The
for,
other
though?
one was I need to fucking hurry up and do it like tomorrow. But it was for the 48-hour film.
Oh.
Thing. Because I knew I wasn't going to make the in-person because it was on Friday. I had a bunch of shit to do. But they'll still take a self-tape because it's not until the end of September. So I can still put in a self-tape audition. It's a 1 to 2 minute monologue.
When is this taking place? When are the 48 hours that you're going to have to...
It's at the end of September.
People always direct me to certain things, and I'm just like, it's not for me. It's
not my style.
It's so hard for me to... You know, Charlie Chaplin did this once when Orson Welles was like, I got this idea for a movie, I'll write it, and direct you in it. And Charlie Chaplin was like, you know what? I've only ever written and directed myself. I'll just buy your script and I'll make the movie. And he's like, that's fine. And I'm kind of in that boat, right? It's so hard for me to, like, I write my own, and I don't want to come off as like a douchebag by saying this, but I write my own like feature-length movies, and I make the story that I want to make, and it'd be so hard for me to
squeeze down.
No, I'm fine with that, but like not be able to run the show. You know what I mean?
Fair, and I don't know that that's how a 48-hour works.
I don't either, but it seems like a very kind of like team-oriented thing.
Well, it is. It's like, it's the 48 hours, and you bring your own team, and it's your own entry, it's your own material, you pick your actors. It's more like, the way I look at it is, yes, it's a challenge for the filmmakers to put their shit together, get it done, and get it out in, that 48-hour period. But I also think that it's a networking, team-building thing that...
Does it feel like it's a networking thing?
Well, yeah, I mean, they have a mass audition for actors. You bring your team, and I'm feeling like if there's an opportunity for people who you don't know to be a part of your project, and because everybody's doing the same thing, so if you can find actors within that group, it doesn't say you can't bring your own.
Right.
You don't have to pick from the auditioned actors.
I feel like that I'm at an experience level that people don't realize or care about. Does that make sense? I've been doing feature-length movies for the last 10 years.
Sure.
And making other shit 10 years prior to that.
Right.
And I feel like the 48-hour film festival challenge thing is for, like, younger guys to get in there and kind of hustle and bustle and figure shit out on a different level than I'm at.
And that's maybe true, if you did it, it might come off that way. I had kind of an epiphany about filmmaking and acting and stuff like that.
Recently.
I don't know, yesterday. It was kind of weird because I was thinking about all these different auditions that I want to do, and I'm like, I'm thinking more. I want to reach out more and do more different stuff. Right? I'm going to put in Throne for this other play, and because I like the script. The
Die Hard script?
I like the idea of doing Die Hard.
Yeah.
Because that would be fun. I don't know what the script looks like. It could be garbage. It's hard to say.
Right.
But I like the idea of doing that story. If it was like Misery, they're doing that in the next month. I want to see it.
It's just a two-person play as far as I know.
I think there's 3, but the third person is the deputy, yeah. But if it was like, hey, come audition for this play, regardless of how many parts there are, right? Like, I don't have an interest in that story. So I probably wouldn't even audition for it.
Right,
because
we
that's
talked
not
about
my
this.
thing. Like,
Stephen
I'm
King
only going to do... And it's not that Stephen King's not my bag. It's just that story is not my thing. But if it was...
my God, dude.
If it was Regulators or... was it Desperation? Was
those
the other?
Are the two.
The two...
that are with each other.
Whatever they are.
Yeah.
One was under the...
They go hand in hand. One was under Bachman.
Bachman, yeah. I read both early on, but like if we were doing that, I'm fucking all over it. I want in because that's a cool story.
Right.
There's a lot of stuff that I would do, but not a lot of that stuff gets written for the kinds of theater that are out here.
Well, no, it's I don't think it's that at all. I think it's just a matter of the producers.
And that's cool. My epiphany that I had about acting and writing and directing and whatever is, I hate saying at our level, right? But we're not professional paid producers.
I don't think that matters
theater.
Anymore. I had a conversation with Rico
and that's
you
where
did.
I'm going. That's where I'm going. I'm unnecessarily prefacing my statement.
Right.
Is just because we're not Hollywood level, we're not 100% paid, that's all we do. Just because that's the case, I feel like, and maybe this is just me and I might be projecting, but I feel like we do this thing where we separate ourselves from what it means to be an actor or a director or a writer or filmmakers, and we look at it as a thing we want to become. I want to become a writer, director, actor that gets paid to do this. I want to be a professional, this, that, and the other thing. And I think an actor, director, writer is not something you become, it's something you are.
Right.
Whether or not you can get paid for it, different story.
Yes,
right?
Yes.
How much you can get paid for it, different story.
Yes.
But I always thought of myself as not really an actor, not actually an actor.
But
until recently, and not because I've done things, and not because people have asked me to do things now, because they like the stuff they've seen me do before.
Gosh, I apologize for the background bullshit that's going on in this podcast.
There's a party in our upstairs apartment.
Man, like...
It's really good, though, the sound transfer.
They're in there.
Wow, it's loud.
I mean, above us is my bedroom. No one better be in my bedroom.
I was in your bedroom.
Oh, God. I mean, think about it. Like, and you're on the Internet Movie Database, right?
Yeah.
You got professional credits.
Sure.
That's a professional credit. I offer professional credits to people who are in my movie, right? Not only that, but, like, I had a professional actor in my movie a week ago.
Sure.
Right? And I had him in a movie of mine a year ago. And that credit in my movie is on his Internet Movie Database profile.
Yeah.
Amongst the paid gigs that he has. So therefore, like, we've been doing it.
It's the same as everybody else. The difference is budget, payout, return on investment. But that was, to me, like I said, it's not fucking huge. But the reality is that it's not something you become. It's not something to reach for and that you hope somebody lets you be it. It's that if you think you are, you are.
That's it. Yeah.
And if you do it, you are.
But you were saying that about Herzog back in Street Tough days in 2016. You were saying that Herzog said that, like, you know, if you're making a movie, you're a filmmaker.
Exactly. You know, and your personal theory on film itself. You watch movies. Therefore, you are a film student.
Always.
And if as long as you participate mentally in film when you're watching it, instead of just being like, oh, watch that movie. I feel like there's... I don't know what this is about. I feel like there's so much of that goes on when people will watch a film and then they're like, I don't get it.
Right. It's you know, it's a cheeseburger at McDonald's. It fills the void real quick, and then you're on to,
it's an entertainment bust, man. Like,
you're
I've been watching
your, girlfriend afterwards or whatever it is.
That's never a bad thing.
Whatever, But and then you're hanging out with buddies having a beer, you're fucking working on a car, But
that's the reality, though, because you can do all that, but if you participate in the film, you can be a student of film. You can be a film student, literal film, your own film student, your own professor.
That's my number one advice to these actors is like, hey, take your acting classes. That's fine. But study movies, watch everything. Listen to interviews and actors, real people. Like, it's all there for you to take into your toolbox.
There was a series on Netflix where they were interviewing actors. And they had all kinds of fucking names on there. They had Robert Downey Jr., they had Matt Damon, Ben Affleck, and And the list goes on.
Vanity Fair does a series of...
It was an interesting format. It was very quiet and personal, and it was just like interviewer, actor, and they talked about early stuff and how they got started and where they went and all these things. But it makes me feel like we're not off the track. If you listen to how Matt Damon and Ben Affleck talk about their starts, same with Kevin Smith, how they started making movies, fucking... You're way better with
we're not doing anything differently than what they were doing.
Absolutely not.
It's just the world that we live in is what's different.
The competition is stiffer. You know, even Spielberg...
The requirements are stiffer.
When those guys made their fucking, their best shit that really struck a chord with the industry. They were fucking film students, dude. They were kids. And they wrote some fucking scripts and they made a shitty little movie and somebody went, wow, that's fucking great.
I had a conversation with somebody recently. I'm not going to name any names.
Of course not.
But the guy, so Rian Johnson, the guy who made that second new Star Wars that everyone hated.
Second new Star Wars.
What was the first one?
We're talking about movies?
Yes. What was that second Star Wars?
The one with Starkiller Base? Or was that the first one?
That was the first one. The J.J. Abrams made that movie. Rian Johnson made the second one.
Okay. So that would have been
Carrie Fisher.
Was it?
Because it was the last...
Force Awakens.
Force Awakens.
And then...
Something else.
And then
Rise of Skywalker. So that middle one Rian Johnson made, right?
Okay.
And I was told... And he also made, like, Knives Out, Glass Onion, Looper.
Loved Looper. Haven't seen the other ones.
But he also... Brick was his first movie.
Brick. Okay.
And this person told me that he knew this guy and he'd read that script, Brick. And he was like, the script's okay. It's not great. But that dude's parents... It's like, oh, how much do you need? $250,000? Here you go to make the movie. And I was told, like, the difference between you and him is just the fact that he had parents that can give him the money to make that movie.
Sure.
And I don't. But I'm no different than that filmmaker and so on.
Because at the end of the day, one of these days, if you hit the right opportunity at the right moment, where somebody does like it, or somebody has the money, or whatever happens... I've said it for a long time, and it sounds cheesy and throwaway if I say it out loud, but if I had the money,
right?
If I somehow, struck it rich
flush
in whatever, right, and I had a fucking $1 million to throw away, not throw away, but if I had $1 million to fling around, dude, if I had that kind of money, I'd be like, can you do it on a couple $100,000, or could you do it on $250, $300? Could you do it on $100? Because the way we're used to making films, you start talking about salary, salaries. You start talking about contract pay. You start talking about bringing in a whole crew where you're paying people to light and film and do all the stuff, and all you're doing is directing actors that you've chosen and hired. It's a whole different story. But I've said it. If I ever get to that point, first thing I'm doing, dude, writing you a fucking check. Here you go.
Make a movie.
Let's pick one of the best ones that we really like, and let's make that one.
Hell, right now, with a budget, almost any of them could be the best one.
That's what I mean. But pick the story we like the most. Like, if I had to pick one right now, Under the Breach would be top.
Get Fiasco.
Top 5. Get Fiasco.
Clandestiny.
Marooned is probably number 2. It's Night Moves. I really liked.
Oh, that's right. Look, you're practically naming all my movies at this point.
Yeah, I know, but I also have the last 10 years to think about the ones that didn't get made. But the ones that...
It's about 5 a year.
That's what I mean. But I look at those and I go, man, I would make that one. But definitely Marooned and
Under the Breach.
And Under the Breach are like my top picks. And I think with, fucking $250,000, dude, no way you couldn't do it.
Right.
Like, you could hire some college kid that's on with the CGI graphics and shit. We could find people to do shit and make it happen, and it could be a fucking blockbuster, man.
Yes.
I think the story's good enough, and I think that with solid actors and everybody paid, you take 30 days, you knock it out, you get it post-production, and now you're screening your movie at Sundance. You're screening your movie in the theater, and people are paying to see it. And you're the unknown director that puts out this film and that people end up loving, and then you get production houses that are calling you and they're like, hey, we got a script, you want to take a look at it, we really liked what you did with this one, you're directing the next Star Trek feature film because Marooned came off so well. It was a little bit in the weird direction, but hey, look at this script over here, let's do this one, and there you go.
Right. I think the one that we just did is looking like the best one.
Really?
Yes.
That's great.
And it also took us the least amount of time to make this movie.
This one flew by.
2 solid months, and all the other ones had always been like 3. Midnight Bloodshed was 5, but
yeah, but
and this could be the longest one too. Like we're about like at 2 hours.
Wow. Because usually you're fighting like that 1
hour and a half. Midnight or Night Not in the Dark. Street Toughs. Midnight Bloodshed hit 2, but we knocked it down to 146. But for like a 2-month effort, 16 days.
A lot of film.
Instead of 30 days, the Midnight Bloodshed was.
But it sounds like your scheduling was fucking really, really beneficial. Everybody got in. Everybody was into it. The new faces that are on board.
And that's what I wanted.
Excited and
I wanted to make a movie with people who wanted to make a movie. Midnight Bloodshed was about half of that.
And that's the best, because then it's like the old days. You have people in it that are in it because they want to be in it.
Right.
Not because, so-and-so talked me into doing it.
Right.
It's like everybody wants to be there.
Or I want this for my, portfolio.
Yeah, and they're doing work on their own behalf, but they're also doing it because that's what they want to be doing.
No one has ever said no to me yet.
As far as
outside of like flaking altogether, but everyone that's read my script has wanted to make my script. Like no one's ever said anything to me about my writing.
I don't think your writing's bad. That's why I don't like it when you ask me to read a script and tell you what I think.
It's hard to grow when I don't get any feedback.
I know, and it's hard for me to give you. I feel like I have some, and I feel like most of my feedback comes out when we're on set.
Right. And most of it's your own personal taste.
But that's my taste, exactly. It's my taste and my vision, and I think that our tastes and visions aren't too far off of each other, and I think that's why.
It's getting hot in here.
It's a little bit warm.
It's getting a little musty.
when we were on set at the trailer.
Yeah.
At my house, at my mom's house.
Yeah.
Like, I didn't intend to be jumping out there and directing shit. I wasn't trying to do that because I don't like taking that from you, and I don't intend to be stepping on your dick for it.
No, you helped choreograph the fight scene.
Yeah, but I feel like
I'm gonna give you credit for that, by the way.
I dig it, but I think that while not perfectly aligned, I think our visions are close enough to each other that because I've seen your visions, so your style and your writing, I've done enough of it with you that we're in tune that way.
Well, we're all trying to make something that we want to make and want it to look cool, want it to be good, right?
Yeah. I
don't have all the best ideas. I know the movie I want to make, that's why I wrote it. Now I'm directing it, making sure that I get to what I want, if not better. Someone could have a better idea. I wouldn't turn down a good idea.
Yeah.
I'll just take credit for it.
Absolutely. It's your job as a director to take credit for all the good ideas. Like paid actors don't get credit for the ideas they give their directors.
Or some funny ad-libs, right?
Yeah.
They're not getting screenwriting credit if they pop off a cool line.
Because it comes out in the film as a whole and everything comes out together.
Right. It's like an upside down triangle. The director's at the bottom and all the ideas funnel through to the director out into the movie.
And sometimes we've been there before where somebody throws something out and it's like, hey, this would be cool, and we try it and it's like, it doesn't look very good. Or we take the shot and we do it another way and it ends up on the floor when you cut the movie.
Oh, yeah.
And that's fine. I'm just excited that you're open to it. That when we're throwing ideas around, it's like, what if we did this?
We got a real open idea in this movie.
But if somebody says, hey, what if this person does this? Or what if this is how they do this?
Right.
And you go, do it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Instead of where I imagine there are other directors who are not like that. They're like, no, that's not what I'm seeing. That's not the character I have in mind. So no, we're not doing that.
Right.
So I think that's more. It's a more fruitful style for everyone, because they get to be creative as well as you get to use their creativity to match with yours.
Right. That's good. So, that's good. Absolutely. But yeah, this one is potentially the best one. And I say that about all of them, but I mean, like, they're all about the same.
But when you get to it and you start seeing it and you go, wow, this is better.
Well, was I texting you the other night? I cut through the pre-credits opening, and I added music, and I touched things up. And
yeah.
And cause that's what I'm doing now, is I'm going through and editing it. And I sat there for 2 hours watching the same 10 minutes over and over and over again because I loved it so much. I was like, God damn.
And that's great, because the more
I couldn't stop watching,
the more you like it, hopefully the more someone else will like it. Like, I've always said this, like, nobody goes into making a film and says
into making a bad movie.
Yeah, you're not gonna make. Nobody wants to make a bad movie.
Yeah.
Unless you're making a parody that's supposed to look like a bad movie.
Right.
But when you're doing what we're doing, you and the people working with you are the people that are trying to make the best possible product that we can all
and it sucks
provide.
When it falls short.
It does.
But there's nothing you can do.
No. And I'm certain that, I mean, there are A-list big budget movies that have fallen short. And they have fallen short on one actor. They've fallen short on a location.
Or just as a whole.
Or a scene, or as a whole. But that happens because it's art and it's creativity and it's everybody putting all their shit out there together and hoping that it all lines up and comes through. And in my opinion, the progression over the last 15 years that I've been making movies with you,
mm-hmm.
they've all gotten better. Every time we make a movie, we learn from it, we do better next time. We make another one, we learn from the last one, we make it better, we do better next time. And every time we've made another movie, it's been a better movie.
Mm-hmm.
So you saying that this one's likely going to be the best one, I have no doubt. Like, Midnight Bloodshed was fucking fantastic in my mind. Like, the visual quality, the audio quality, the acting quality, everything was leaps and bounds better than it has been before.
Not in the Dark.
So, absolutely, 100%. The story, the pace of the story was far better. I think Not in the Dark was interesting as a movie, but pacing-wise, for these mind-drivel people who want to intake media and just go,
right.
and then it's over,
right.
and they want to say, yeah, it was good or it was bad. That's not how movies work. They're not good or bad. There are parts of movies that are good and bad. There are actors that are good and bad. There are scenes and dialogue lines and shit like that. That's how the whole thing works.
Right.
But each movie on the board as it goes gets better. Every time. And I intend for that to continue. Because we're all growing as people. We're growing as actors. We're growing as directors.
But we're also not getting any younger.
Filmmakers. But that's okay.
Okay.
Because, dude, we're in terms of how old actors are. Like, a lot of actors don't really hit a stride until they're 30 plus years old anyway. Robert Downey Jr., I was not impressed with anything he made pre-Iron Man. When did Robert Downey Jr. become Robert Downey Jr. that you know?
Iron Man.
And that might be reductive because he did other stuff before.
Oh, yeah.
But his strength as an actor really came through and continued from Iron Man on.
Yep.
And now he is that Johnny Depp. When did Johnny Depp really become Johnny Depp that you know?
Pirates of the
Caribbean. Because that was an iconic role that he played that everybody knows, and he knows that.
Right.
How old do you think Johnny Depp was when he did it?
Probably 40.
Exactly. Like, we're right
like,
there,
what,
man.
In 84, when he made Nightmare on Elm Street, he was probably early 20s.
They were kids.
Yeah.
You look at their faces, and I see us.
So 20 years later, yeah.
When they're acting professionally, sure, they're getting paid. They're in there. But they also had a benefit of their families being involved in movie and film. And they had the benefit of having gone to legit high-end acting schools at theater schools and whatever.
They were in Hollywood and such.
They lived in the area. They did all the things that all those people do. They lived in that culture from day one.
Right.
We were talking about him earlier. Matt Damon, Ben Affleck. They fucking lived like a train ride away from New York, and they would go there to audition for shit. They grew up in the fucking area of where that shit happens.
The metro.
If we grew up and lived in a major film and theater market, we'd probably be doing better.
Probably.
But we don't.
We don't.
So we're trying to make something of nothing.
Right.
And that's all you can do. That's what life is about, is making something from nothing. If that fucking weirdo cat from Tennessee or South Carolina, wherever the fuck he is, I don't know if you've seen his song, and I don't remember the dude's name, but it's Rich Men North of Richmond. And it's on fire right now as far as social media goes.
Something blew up? Something's trending?
It's super huge right now. And it's this fucking, I don't want to say bumpkin, but like, it's just a fucking redneck dude that plays a guitar. He wrote a song, and he posted it. And he posted this song, and it's just him on a fucking, a low-quality recording rig.
Tree stump.
That's what he does, man. He hangs out in the fucking woods. That's what makes him happy. It'd be like if we were recording a movie in my backyard. That's what we do.
Right.
We record movies in places where we can. This guy was writing music, and he recorded this song, and he uploaded it, and it fucking blew up, dude. He's been on the top charts of music for almost a month now.
Lucky,
and he's had tour offers, and it's not lucky. I mean, I guess it is lucky, but it's happenstance.
He has the talent to back up the luck.
Absolutely. And I don't think that we don't have the talent. It's that he wrote a song, the recording fucking sucked. His vocals are, pretty good. But then, since then, he's recorded higher quality stuff because he's had people say, hey, this would be really great, but let's get you on a higher quality rig. If you want to record it out in the woods, that's fine. But let's put a higher quality rig out here. Let's mic you up properly. And let's do this whole thing. And let's produce the video.
Mm-hmm.
And it's a mile better than the original one that he did by himself on his fucking cell phone. Okay? So the reality is, it doesn't matter how old you are. We're not at the end of our careers because we're almost 40. I think we're just getting there.
We're just getting started.
We're just getting started because the more life experience you have gives you the depth of how people are to act.
Of course.
Like, you understand more about how people are now because of the number of people you've directed. You've seen more things. You've seen more film.
It's so insane, dude. Like, Street Meets Pavement, Godsalt, Street Toughs, Not in the Dark. It's almost like the same crew of people, right?
Mm-hmm.
The Midnight Bloodshed blew up with a whole bunch of new people. If Tomorrow Never Comes feels like it's a whole nother group of new people.
Yeah, I mean, you've got some of the same faces from the last one, but you've got yet that many more brand new people. And the way I saw them interact with each other and with you and on set and with me, like, I was hardly ever there, but on the times that I was there,
people.
They're great people, and it feels like old hat. Like, we're all a crew.
Yes.
It feels like we all just kind of came in. It's like, oh, hey, Monday morning we're at the shop and we're doing some film, and we'll, it's okay, see you next time. And every time everybody gets together, that's how it feels. That's the kind of people you want to work with. That's the kind of people I want to work with.
That's why you weren't in Not in the Dark or didn't help out with Not in the Dark. It's because of what happened with Street Toughs. You didn't want to work on a movie where people didn't want to work on a movie.
Yeah, if you don't want to be there, you don't want to be participating and working because it is work. I get it. We goof around sometimes, and we have a hard time not joking and sometimes staying on track. And I know that's one of, if Greg had a gripe that he would say out loud, it's that sometimes we're fucking off too much because we're talking about stuff that's not pertinent. We're not working. And even though we're doing it for fun, when we're on set, everybody should be there to work. It should be like, no offense, it should be there to work. It's a job when you get there.
But you need to be comfortable too. And you need to be able to be free to be yourself as well.
And not at every job, but who isn't themselves anyway? So you can be yourself and still be professional and get the job done. And I'm not saying it's overly done where people fuck around too much, but sometimes we do. And that's okay, because nobody's paying us and we're not punching a clock. And that's part of the benefit of what we're doing, is we're doing it for us, we're doing it on our time. So some of us have tighter schedules than other, and we try to go with that. So if we have to go to the next line item, it's time.
No, having said that, Cory, you were going to play this year.
It was fantastic. It was my re-debut of acting outside of the movie. I was excited to do it.
I was happy for you. And after I watched it, like there wasn't a spot for me in there if I had auditioned.
Maybe not.
I didn't see anything that I could have done any differently.
Your style, the way I pictured you acting, I don't know that I couldn't have given you a part, but I don't know if there would have been a part that you could have done better than somebody else did.
Right,
and that's not a dig.
And the play itself was very fluid as far as because people were doubled up on parts and shit like that. I'd like to be in a play again, but something that's written where you got your 5 to 10 characters,
everybody's one person.
It's a story front to back rather than trying to weave in parody to this and that.
Sure. That's the only part that I think was a little off. I don't want to say off-putting, because it wasn't to me, because it was all pretty fun. But
I'd like to get into a character and be somebody else.
That was what was great for me.
I saw you in a fucking Jurassic Park Jeep fucking taking pictures.
That was at the very end. Act 2 had nothing for me anyway.
Love that Horton.
Love that Horton.
That was my favorite joke. Was the Brody wants tickets to
I've got tickets and then twice.
Multiple times you got tickets and he's always put out every time.
So, but it was goofy for the sake of being goofy, though.
Yeah, and it was funny. It was funny.
Kind
I had
play.
fun going and seeing it, and it was that kind of play.
I would like to do a serious one, too.
A serious one or a serious comedy, I guess.
Yeah, where it's a straight comedy instead of a hard parody like we did.
Right.
Where it's comedy, but it's funny because of what it is, not because we're saying it's funny and we're doing funny shit to be funny.
I want to tag up on something earlier we were talking about. So you asked me for a monologue.
Right.
You're not the first person to ask me for something in that vein. Riley hit me up and was like, hey, I'm looking for a scene for a male and female vampire. I know you've seen a lot of stuff here and there. This is kind of what I'm looking for. And I'm like, well, here's some movies that you could just look them up, find a scene, type it into YouTube, and maybe you'll find what you're looking for. And then I was like, would you rather I just write you a scene? I can write you a quick scene. It's what I do. And I did. I ended up writing her a scene, and she ended up not doing it. Then she asked me, can we film it? I was like, yeah, I guess we can. I'm going to be leaving here pretty soon. And I'm I just got done filming something I kind of want to break. But maybe when I get back, or you can go ahead and work on it yourself, right?
Sure.
Hit up Greg. He's gonna have my equipment, and whatever. Maybe he'll help you out. I know Cory wants to direct, Braxton wants to direct, Jacob wants to direct.
Sure.
There's nobody that's in
there's
short
supply
of people who are looking to kind of sharpen their teeth on some stuff. But yeah, so it's probably a little late for me to write you a monologue, but I mean, I
almost. Honestly, after you said pick a movie and go look stuff up, I thought about doing that one, because that one's really straight though, and that would be great for the 48-hour self take that I'm gonna do, and I might do that one because I've done it before, but it would be a chance to do it again and really put a lot more time and effort into.
That's a great I'm just thinking about it. I'm getting chills. That's. We do the work.
For a straight one, for a straight monologue where it's a dramatic. And then I was just like, why don't I just go through all the fucking scripts that I have of your shit? And I'll just pick one out of there.
Monologues in there for sure. I don't monologue as much as I used to. My earlier scripts, there's always some character that's having an internal personal crisis, and they're just spewing it out of their mouth
You don't do it a lot, but it's in there. There's enough of them in there.
Oh shit, yeah, it is, dude.
So, and I have almost all the scripts, at least for the last.
Maybe even some I haven't even written yet.
All the ones that we've printed, anyway.
And I've printed them all. So
I mean, I've got a stack. I've got a good stack.
Yeah, so, like they're there.
But yeah, that was. I wasn't looking for a gimme. I was looking more for a direction.
I'm gonna send you a scene that I was thinking about. That's a comedic scene. Oh, what was the name of that movie? Oh,
I need more than that.
Fuck, I know. It's a Vince Vaughn movie.
Okay.
Kevin James. They're buddies. Kevin James is married to Winona Ryder, and Vince Vaughn sees her cheating on him. Oh, what the fuck was that movie? Let me just type in Kevin James. But there's a funny monologue. The dilemma.
Vince Vaughn goes off sometimes. Like, he gets some good monologues, and I think it's because of his delivery style.
Vince Vaughn, the dilemma speech. The scene, it's so good and so funny. I don't think anyone else talks in it, but so that would be good. But like I've done monologues where you cut out the, someone's like, what, huh, or yeah, or I agree, where they cut out the extra line and you just keep going with the.
Don't look for that additional cue.
Right.
So, but I was looking for more of a direction from you, knowing me. Like, you go, oh, this one would be great, or hey, what about this one that I wrote? Like you just said, from
my movies,
from
Street Tales. Like, the thing is like, I love getting those questions and I love having those conversations, but when you text me and I'm like taking a dump or I'm like in the middle of something or I'm out, right?
Well, this is where we have that conversation.
My head is like, it's the student thing. I watch every movie, good or bad, so that it's in my brain. But now it's filed away and I don't have the details anymore. Right. And I'd have to go and look on Netflix or look at my movie collection and look through it, look at a list of stuff, because it's hard for me to be like, that one would be perfect. When I only seen 10 movies in my life, that one would be perfect. But now I've seen a billion movies.
Right. And
a billion TV shows.
And I find the same thing. That's why I was like, help me pick something.
Right. So, like, if you're like, man, what's a great Clint Eastwood monologue? That'd be a lot easier for me to find it for you. But when you say what's a great monologue, play, movie, TV show, I heard some guy yelling out on the street the other day.
There's too much to pick from. And that goes back to what we started out talking about. The amount of media that's available out there is like, I have to pick.
Contributing to it also.
That feels unnecessary, but you know what? If you don't contribute to it, there's going to be 10 other people that still are.
Right, that still are.
Whether or not
I might as well still be doing it.
Whether or not you do is up to you.
Yeah.
It doesn't make it doesn't devalue it because 10 other people are also contributing to it. It just, you either are going to add value or not.
And this was something that Rico said to me, because I was like, man, I get like jealous of all these other filmmakers that are locally doing stuff and they're putting shit out. And he's like, don't do that. Don't get over that, because they're not making what you're making. You worry about you and you just keep making your shit, and don't worry about those other guys.
Yeah. And like I said,
that's what I'm gonna do now.
Dude. It takes one, and your art is your art, and that's.
I predate all those motherfuckers too, by the way.
It's only a competition when you're literally going up against another film, and somebody has to say, I like this one better than that one for this reason. Other than that, writing, directing, filmmaking, acting, as creators, as artists, and I've been saying this a lot, so it's kind of cliche in my mind already.
You sound stupid as you're saying it.
It's our gift to the people.
Right.
Our art that we love doing is our gift to society. It's our gift to people. Just like what Rico does. Rico's a voice actor primarily, but that's his gift to the community. He's not rich. He's not a rich man. Mm-hmm. But he's making a living doing what he loves.
Right.
And what he loves is giving his performance to people. And that's why my epiphany that I had the other day is like, I just realized I don't have to become an actor. It's because I am one.
You are one.
Because I've always been an actor. I didn't realize it until recently.
Right.
But really, acting, entertaining, being that person that does that. Why do you want to be in a movie? Why do you want to be an actor? You don't have to become an actor. You are an actor if that's what you do.
Yes.
And
do you hear that, kids?
That's what I do. I might have I've been watching stuff like how to become an actor, how to get paid gigs, blah, blah, blah. And they're like, my survival job is this. And it's like, well, we all have to have jobs to pay the bills. And until you get to a point where you have enough gigs getting paid to do the acting part, you still have to make money doing something else.
Yep.
And maybe that doesn't always happen for everybody. But who cares? Because I'm still doing my art because I love to do it. And I love to do it because I love to see the reaction from other people who see me do it. Slightly self-serving, but at the same time, it's for everybody. You wouldn't do it if it wasn't good for you, and you wouldn't keep doing it if people didn't think it was good for them.
Yep.
So,
well then,
soapbox off. So that's that. But the play brought that out of me. If bringing that back, like I don't really want to talk a lot about the play because it is what it is, and it's out there and it's done with. It's night time.
Right. Well, the stuff I heard, we wouldn't want to repeat anyways. No. I love that stuff. But that stuff was great. Anyways, I don't want to say too much there. While you were doing a play, I was making a movie. Mm-hmm. And also at the same time, we did have, our graduating class had their 20-year reunion. We graduated 20 years ago.
Which was that's the last one we did. The last podcast we did, we talked about the reunion that was upcoming.
Right.
So, yeah. But, I went to that after the show. And it was funny because it was like pretty much what I expected. I got there late because the show gets out at 9:30. And
I was filming that night.
Yeah, that's right. Because Greg came to the show.
Okay. So that night,
yeah.
There were people from somewhere in California that were watching the show to see if they can take it to wherever they do plays.
Yeah,
Greg left me at his house to go do that. That was that night, and then he left. Once you were done, he was like, "Oh, we got done early tonight too." Like,
yeah, he came, and he usually came in, said, "Hey, let's have a good night." Blah blah blah. Get everybody kind of pepped up, and then once we were like ready to go, he would speed and go do his other thing.
Right, because he was making a movie with me.
One night that he wasn't there at all because he had something else going on, another gig, but he was always there either the whole time, or at least before and or after.
So funny. I was like, I don't want to do fucking night shoots. I'm writing a movie where it's not a bunch of night, but then we still ended up doing like a shit ton of night shoots. Not nearly as many as on Midnight Bloodshed. We weren't driving to fucking Frenchman's or Donner, but we still had a bunch of like the front end was loaded with like night shoots. So like, and Greg had to play at night, and so. Like, he went over to the play and your lights didn't turn on or whatever, and then he had to book it back where we filmed in a secret location that I'm not going to say here because I want it to be a surprise when people watch the movie. Me and Greg watched the movie for the first time yesterday. He came over and we watched everything that I'd edited together. And, like, we've got a bunch of different people, a bunch of different locations. Like, we did a bunch of weird, crazy different things in this movie.
Nice.
Like, it looks like a wide expansion of what we've been doing. It's like the first couple movies, if we made that movie today, it would look drastically different because we're a little bit more comfortable. And I'm in the head, like this movie, I wanted to put myself back in the headspace of like, fuck it, I'm going to do what I want to get what I need, right? Herzog says, like, it's worth spending a night in the jail as long as you get the shot that you want or need.
Yeah. Yeah, no, you take a fucking camera, you go out and you shoot and you get it done. And I think it feels like Greg's becoming more...
a little bit more open.
Accepting to that. Mm-hmm. Where it's like, fuck it, let's just go shoot it. Let's go get it done.
Because if we don't shoot it, it's not going to happen.
It doesn't go in the movie.
Yeah.
If you don't shoot it. So.
And he was about, like, and it's funny because he filmed a lot of the villains in this movie. And then when I was filming, like, the good guys, he wasn't around. So it was like two groups, because I kind of wrote two stories that kind of interweave. So he didn't get to interact a lot with, like, Nomar and Megan. And instead it was, like, me and Jacob, right? So I was running camera, Jacob was running sound. And I was shooting those two kids, right? And, and then he was shooting, like, Cody and Damon. So, like, he was kind of, like, the villain, DP. And I was DPing the heroes. I directed all of it. I was on every single day. I've got my list here. I was on for 18 days. And that's just as far as running the camera goes. Greg was on 12 days, right? Jacob was number 3 at 10 days. Damon was 10 days. Noir was 10 days. Cody did 9 days, even though he's got like 250 lines. He's really the lead of the movie, but he was only on 9 days. Megan did 8, and then after that, it was like Braxton did 4, Riley did 4, and so on down the line. I've got you for 3 days. Does that sound right to you?
Yeah, we did one down at the shop, one at my mom's house, and one down
at the bar. Yeah, those were your 3 days. Yeah. So how did that reunion go?
I got there, it was kind of late. It was only until midnight. It started at 6, so a lot of people I feel like came in early and left early. By the time I got there, I crossed paths with Ryan Kelly on the way out. We said, hey, how you going? What's up? And he's like, yeah, I was trying to wait, and I got to work tomorrow, so I got to go. And we kind of went like this in the hallway.
Now, he helped write the script for Shark.
He did. He was on a team of 6 or 8 people.
So how much did you interact with him at all during that process?
Not at all. I mean, they wrote the script.
Did you see him, though?
They wrote the script. Once I finally got my hands on it, when we started rehearsing, his name's on the thing as one of the writers on the front page.
Right.
And then they had about, I don't know, 2/3 of the way through, 3/4 of the way through the rehearsal before we even went to costumes and props and tech and stuff. They had, but we were getting closer. They had the writers, like a handful of them, but we never ever see them because it wasn't like a big deal. They didn't like have the lights, and it wasn't a show. It was rehearsal.
Right.
They said, hey, if you guys want to come sit in rehearsal, it's cool. They came in, they sat in the back, they didn't say shit. They did their thing, and we didn't really see them. And then there was one night in the first week, the opening week, that was writers and the production staff, the house staff, everybody that wasn't physically part of the show, but that was still part of the house, that had something to do with it, the art department and those guys. They had a night where they were the primary attendants.
Yeah.
And when Ryan Kelly's in the audience, you know it. he has a loud laugh. But I knew that. I knew he was there.
Yeah.
And it was great. Because it's great to hear. It's like when you watch your own movie and you go, that was fucking cool.
I laughed through the whole, like, I ran through Midnight Bloodshed the other night, and Rose was like, what are you laughing at? Because I'm laughing at everything.
But when you put your own shit in there and then you see somebody playing it, and you go, that's what I wanted.
Yeah.
I wrote that thing, and that guy played my joke the way I wanted it.
And the stupid and silly shit that you see people doing.
Exactly.
It's like, that's Cory being Cory, or whatever.
Right? So, to have the writers, at least however many of them that were there, in the audience and enjoy what we were doing, that was a big enough pat on the back for me. This is like, we wrote it. We love the way you played what we wrote. And you could tell people in the audience. You could tell when you get the laughs and when you don't get the laughs. And some crowds are different.
Did he talk to you at all?
We talked a little bit, but it was like, it wasn't shop. It was like, like, hey, great fucking job tonight, man. You guys did awesome.
That's it.
It was like a regular person after a show.
So running into him then at the reunion.
Yeah, I saw him.
Wasn't like, oh, I just saw you at the play all last 2 months
saw him
or whatever.
The week before the reunion, because that was a week that they came to the play. And I saw him and his girlfriend, and we kind of shot the shit for a minute, and then they split. We had a drink, and then when I ran into him in the hallway at the reunion, it was like, oh, hey, fuck, sorry, man, I'm going to miss you. He knew I had to play, and he knew that I was going to be late. By the time I got there, I went in, and it was Corey Forson, Ryan Robinson, Corey Penna, and their ladies. And I don't know, handful of other people there that, I grew up with. Sean and Jamie Berryman.
Oh, yeah, they were there?
Yeah, they were there.
So weird. You say these names.
It's weird.
Instantly, I see them in my head, but now they're like...
Matt.
Oh, yeah, Matt McKnight.
But
hold on, we'll talk about that. Just keep going with your list. Because you have a funny picture with him.
John Benitez.
Right, well, he ran the thing.
He ran it. I did not see... What's her face?
Carla
Orell, which is not Orell anymore, but
it's
Smith
weird. It's weird.
It's
weird seeing that.
But
Kelly got married, from like God's Salt.
Yes, I just McDermott now.
Yeah, she got a different last name. Like,
so I ran into a handful of people, but it's all people that I would have talked to or had classes with in passing. It wasn't so off the chain.
I was filming that day and I was talking shit to my crew.
So it was good. It was good to see everybody, and I'm glad now that I went because, had I not gone,
we lost somebody recently. We lost Ryan.
Ryan Robinson passed away recently, and it was fucking, who knows? It was like life's short. That kind of shit happens, and it sucks major fucking dick. And I'm glad that I got to see him.
Yeah.
That last time, because I hadn't seen him in years
God,
before that.
What a fucked up... Everyone at that reunion now, whoever interacted with him then.
Yeah.
Like, it's such a...
It's like, now it's in the forefront of your mind at that point.
It's like, right, like if it would have happened last year.
Yeah, if it would have happened last year, nobody would have noticed.
And we've lost other people, and we've lost other people before.
Yeah. And that was a thing that was discussed. Like, a couple of the guys...
like Charlie's gone.
Yeah,
Charlie Woods, Darren Dunn.
Yep. So, but anyway, we talked about some of that shit and the people that we lost, and it was kind of weird in that way now that since Ryan's passed away. But, yeah, it was kind of what I expected. It was just like the previous one, except it was cooler. It was at an actual
and I didn't go to the last one either.
The last one sucked because it was at the school, and it was like, okay,
that sounds cool to me.
It was kind of fun because we were there, but it was like, okay, now we have to leave and go to the bar if we want to have some beers.
Like all the reunion movies.
Yeah.
They're running around the halls, the empty halls.
That's not like that. We were in the lunchroom.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, but after we stood around and bullshitted for a little while,
you know what they should have done? They should have made up, like, a brand new yearbook.
Be a short one.
Right, but, I mean, right.
Yeah.
Obviously, the other 3 classes wouldn't be in it, but, like, if they made up a thing, like, hey, send in some shit, right? Like, maybe they do, like, a pre-yearbook thing, and then you get, like, then they put, like, new photos. Like, maybe you can do, like, a new, like, photo thing.
Okay.
Send it in, they make up a book, you pay for it or whatever, you give them $100. And then you pick it up when you get there, and you can look through it, and then you can have everyone sign it.
No, that's a good idea. Maybe you should get on the committee to run the next one.
When I'm 48, 47.
When do we get another one? 25?
No, every
30?
10. Every 10.
Okay. Yeah, there you go. It'll probably be cheaper to print next time.
Print what?
The shorter list of people that'll still be alive.
Oh, God. No, they would make it in the in memoriam.
Right.
Which, I mean, the list would keep growing. That's the fucked up thing.
Yeah. So, but yeah, it was laid back.
You saw Brandon?
I did not see Brandon.
I thought you saw him.
I saw Brandon at the wake. I didn't see him at the...
Oh, I thought you saw him at the reunion.
Yeah. So then, like, not 2 weeks or whatever after the reunion, then Ryan passed away. And then the next week, we had a wake for Ryan. And obviously the Corys and Brandon were there.
Was Jeff there?
Jeff was not there. Jeff is apparently in Sweden or something.
Oh yeah, I did see some Instagram photos.
Not a lot of the guys, but Ryan's circle was pretty small. His friend circle was pretty small.
They're probably people that you've never met
Ryan
before.
Kelly was there. Mostly adults and
co-workers now. I mean, your real friends become your co-workers at a certain point in life.
I mean, and his wife's family and their family friends and their
It's not like high school anymore where it's just like, oh, there's so and so.
All the homies, would show up.
There's no more homies.
No.
We all have different homies now.
It's like the list is just shorter and shorter.
Not to bring this podcast down. I feel the energy.
And it does, but as life goes on, the list gets shorter because you have to choose who you invest your time in.
So was there okay.
Yeah.
Let's get back to the reunion thing. Because I can feel the emotion coming in. Was there any surprises at the reunion? I know you came in late. Anybody look different? Anyone look fucked up?
No, I mean everybody that I saw, everybody looked pretty good, man. I mean, the older we get and the more the higher we go in our professional lives and stuff like that, you can tell the guys that are they're like me. You know, you're like moderately successful in your career, and you're married, and you got kids, so we're getting a little chunkier.
So no cool surprises.
Nothing was
no rich billionaires to show up.
I guess Sean is something of a pro-am off-road dirt racer. He races like, I don't know, like Baja style off-road. But yeah, nothing.
Any of the the higher was Kyle Hansen.
I heard some stuff about people that we haven't talked to in a while, and stuff that I won't put in here because I don't have any verification on any.
Oh man!
But
no, you don't have to put it in here. But it makes me wish that I would have been there for that hot
goss. There was a little bit of gossip.
Some hot goss.
But yeah, nothing like really, like wildly surprising. Like everybody's doing. Like, okay.
Was Dean Anderson there? Did you see him? You know who that is? No. That was my buddy for the longest time. Was Greg's brother there? Did you see Jeff?
I did not see Jeff. There was a lot of people that had already left, though.
Right.
And the pizza wasn't that good. It was noted by many participants.
Oh, the pizza was not that
good. So there was a lot of pizza left over that people didn't eat. I was drunk by the time I started eating it. And it was mostly cold, so I was like, fuck it, I'm hungry anyway, I'm going to eat it. And it was all there was, so.
All right, so.
Yeah, nothing out of the ordinary.
What is it? It was all... TLDR, pizza sucked.
Yeah.
20-year reunion.
20-year reunion.
Too long, didn't read, pizza sucked.
Too long, didn't read, pizza sucked.
Well, that's disappointing.
It wasn't anything like really off the chain. Most people didn't change. They are the same-ish type person they used to be, and... It makes me feel better. Like, you saw what I wore, like, when you saw the pictures.
Yes, you look like how you look right now.
Everybody was wearing...
Cory, the Corys and Ryan were...
They were wearing nice clothes. They were
slacks and a dress shirt.
Button-up shirts. The girls were wearing dresses. And, I don't know, maybe that's what they wanted to do. Like, but I don't dress that way.
Right.
I wear a polo at best at work. I wear a polo and slacks. It's like, I almost wore that, and I was like, fuck it. I just got off stage. I'm sweaty as fuck. I'm tired.
Should have showed up as the mayor.
Oh god, I should have worn my fucking derby hat and the red frilly jacket.
The ringmaster jacket that you have.
So, but that was my.
Was there anyone else that was dressed down like you?
Ryan Kelly wasn't super dressed up.
No, he wasn't.
He was wearing a t-shirt.
He looked exactly like how Ryan Kelly looks.
And it would be like. I learned a lesson at the 10-year. That's why I dressed the way I did. Because I tried to look fancy when I went down there. And tried to look like something that I wasn't. Because when I went down to the 10-year, it's like, dude, I was a fucking mechanic. Like, I wore greasy clothes all day long. I had fucking dirt under my fingernails. That was the kind of person I was.
I'm so tired of being told how I need to dress.
And from that, when we were at the 10-year, everybody was the same thing. Everybody was trying to be dressed up a little bit. Like, not... hot rod, right? Like, but decent shirt. Most people were wearing ties. Gained a lot of weight at that one because I was running the restaurant and I had fucking gained like 50 pounds over what I normally weighed. So, but I saw David Brown. Yep. I don't know if you remember David Brown.
I remember him.
David Brown was, and we used to make fun of him, call him Hollywood when we played baseball because he always had Oakley's on. He had the Pro Fit cap. He was the nicest fucking gear because his dad believed in his shit and bought him the stuff that he wanted and he thought he needed.
Right.
He had his own catching gear. Like, I was like, damn, David, like, you got your shit going on. So we always laughed about that. And then when I saw David showed up as David. And he was wearing a t-shirt and a flannel. And
at the 10-year.
At the 10-year. I didn't see him this last year. And... he was wearing his baseball cap backwards. He's kind of got this biker look to him, I guess, if you want to say that. But when I saw David, I was like, I respect that. And I saw the way he was dressed, and it was like, you know what? Fuck these people. I should dress the way... And not literally fuck these people, but fuck these people because I don't need to impress them because I should just be the person that I am. So when I left the house to go to the theater... I usually, on Saturdays, I wear fucking basketball shorts and a t-shirt because it was always hot. I was like, if I don't have to
It was a hot fucking summer, dude.
Yeah, it was so hot. But I would dress, super light, go down, get ready, costumes, all that shit. And then when I was done, I would usually just throw basketball shorts on, a t-shirt, fucking Taco Bell, and then go home and go to bed. But for the reunion, I was like, okay, I'll take a fucking clean pair of Levi's and a fucking t-shirt that I like that doesn't have holes in it.
Yep.
And a fresh baseball cap, because I wear them for about a month and they get all gross,
sweaty,
like sweatband. You can see it. Yep. Like, so when I buy a new one, I save the new one for like when I go out and we have a night where I'm going to wear a hat, but I don't want to look gross. But yeah, so from the 10-year, I took that from David. I was like, you know what, fuck it. Like, I'm going to dress how like I dress anyway. If it was
maybe
a
I'll
wedding,
see you at the 30.
If it was a wedding, different story. Because a wedding has or a funeral, right? I'm going to dress to an occasion out of my own perception. What I think I need to dress as for that occasion. I'll wear a suit to a job interview.
God, I'm tired of that too. You shouldn't have to wear a suit to a job interview.
But it's an optics game. And
no. Fuck that.
I know.
And fuck them.
I know.
And fuck
the
you.
Older I get, the more I don't want jobs that want me to wear that. Because I don't want to wear that at work anyway. I'll wear my suit to funerals.
Mm-hmm.
But
well, you're respecting the host, I guess.
Yeah, out of respect for the host, for something like that, I'm going to dress respectfully and I'm going to dress nicely. But a lot of times now, my nice is a dark-colored pair of new clean Levi's and a polo shirt or a button shirt or whatever like that. But like, I'm not wearing a tie unless I really think I have to. If it's a tie thing, okay, I'll wear a tie.
How did you dress for the Midnight Bloodshed premiere?
What did I wear?
Like an asshole. I don't know.
No.
You had a red shirt on?
I wore my shirt and tie and
your English cocksucker hat.
Newsy English flat cap, cabbie, whatever you want to call it.
You heard what I said.
It's not called the cocksucker. I know what those look like.
Okay. Yours is slightly different.
Mine's different than that. But
English buttfucker hat.
I wanted to dress nice. Oh, I wore my jacket too.
Yeah, you had a leather jacket, right? Leather jacket?
No, it was my suit jacket.
Oh, okay, suit jacket.
But
it was cold.
It was cold. So
I want the premiere for this movie to be not cold. I want people to be able to be comfortable. I know. I'm thinking the week of daylight savings time, which is like March 15, 18, something like that. But I was told, it was brought to my attention, and we're zooming through the edit on this, right? Like, we could be done with this early. I wish I didn't, I got a thing that I have to dip for a month. But I was told, like, oh, if you release it this year, that means you'll have 2 movies that came out this year. Because I released Midnight Bloodshed in January. Right. So I could have a double year of movies.
And during the strike, I mean, who knows?
And they're still striking, so...
I saw that. I saw they're still on the line.
And so, like, us indies are the only people making movies, making content. So who knows? Maybe this could be the one that people like, what do you got? What do you got? We need something. And I had that meeting with Film Hub and everything else, so...
Yeah. So... Yeah. Be who you are. That's what... And another thing is I take from you is you wear vests.
Yes.
And you have different ones you wear on different occasions or different...
Not really.
...settings. You have a couple, though, right?
As one gets old, I get a new one to replace it.
But, like, you will wear, like, to the premiere, you'll wear shorts and...
I wore dress shorts to the
Midnight Bloodshed. You did wear nicer shorts this time than your regular
and a button-up and a tie, but I had my vest on.
But you had your vest on, and that's your thing. And so for the reunion, I just fucking, like I said, clean Levi's and a nice shirt and my ball cap, because that's how I dress. I fucking shaved, and I look nice, but that's how I am. That's the person I am. So fuck you.
Yes.
If you don't like it, because if you don't like it, you don't like me.
Right.
And if you think that the way I dress means something to who I am, how I act, or otherwise, okay. And that goes back to the statement I was starting to make earlier, was just the older you get, you have to pick the people you're going to invest your time in. And if you have to try that hard to invest your time into somebody, then fuck them.
Right.
Like, with Paul, like, I'm pretty sure Paul doesn't give a shit what I wear when we hang out.
Right.
Paul is always fucking dressed way over me when we've met up.
I've only ever seen him with, like, a tank top on.
Yeah, but when we go out, though, we've been out to drinks or whatever, or he wears nice shirts and stuff like that. So, but he's got a different agenda. The way he dresses is his own thing. So, and that's not a judgment. That's the way he dresses, and I appreciate that. And it looks good on him, and he's comfortable in that. So,
well, do we want to wrap this up?
Yeah, and I mean,
any last requests?
No, I just like I said, I think we're at a point in our creative lives where I think we have the experience of what we've already done and the experience of life to this point where that can only drive us further into creating better content, better movies, better plays, better whatever we're going to be in, whatever we're going to direct, whatever we're going to write.
You know what? There's this book. I bought a book for you. I don't think you read the last book I bought for you. When I go on vacation, I'm going to try to write like 1 million fucking scripts, and like it's stressing me out. But there's this book, Amok, right?
I'm almost done with the Star Trek book.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I'm hoping to write that on the plane. I'm hoping to write that script on the plane, right? I only read
it at night.
It's like an 18-hour fucking flight to and from, so I'm hoping to write that, get some... Yeah, but the book I bought for you, that's my copy.
Right.
That movie takes place in the Philippines. It's about a Japanese soldier. This is
the one you were telling me about.
Yeah, okay. Did I tell you about this?
Momentarily.
Like a Japanese soldier stuck, or he stayed behind in the Philippines after the war ended. Mm-hmm. So it's the 70s now, and he's been killing people. He's like a legend, kind of like Bigfoot, right?
Okay.
Like there's
like
the
he doesn't
Amok.
think the war ever
right.
ended, kind of
it's
thing.
Like a 7-foot Japanese guy, long beard, long hair, and he's got a samurai sword, and he's living in the jungles and the caves, and he'll come out when he runs out of food, and he'll kill people, right? And he'll like steal their food or whatever. And he's been doing it for 20 years. And then there's like this white dude that's lived there in his entire life. Like his dad's stuck behind, his grandfather's stuck behind. They own like a tobacco farm or whatever. Japanese dude kills this guy. His brother comes back. I didn't get very far. I'm starting to read it now. But like when I'm in the Philippines, I would love to be able to be like, go. I don't know how they run things down there and there, but like, hey, I'm a filmmaker. This movie takes place in the Philippines. Like, let's, maybe we can get a meeting to talk about making this movie in the Philippines. And, there are American characters. The biggest problem is the setting is in the 70s because it has to do with World War II. Mm-hmm. As I'm reading it, I'm trying to figure out, can I change that? But it's really hard because all the motivation is the war, right? And there isn't an alternate war that happened 20 years ago from today that would have to do with the Philippines. Yeah. There was no, like, what is it called when, like, that group of people are in this country and they're... Occupation. There was no occupation in the Philippines during, like, the Iraq War.
Right.
So...
Yeah.
But, I'm reading it. I'm
playing around with
it. And, and then I also want to, like, I wrote that big treatment. You like that treatment for the Weed of Miles stuff?
Yeah. There's a lot of room in there for some cool shit.
But now I'm thinking, I went and saw this horror movie yesterday, and like there was a Saw trailer, the new Saw, and I'm like, man, I would love to make a movie just soaked in blood. These two movies, and I told this to Rico, and I've said it to I think you years ago on a podcast about like, if we fuck up on a horror movie, we can only rely on the gore. And I don't bring the gore because we don't have alternate outfits. Like, if we dump blood on somebody and we fuck it up, we can't do it again.
Right.
We don't have a second outfit. We don't have a shower out in the middle of the woods or something like that to clean up and reset. But, like, on a crime movie, if we don't bring, like, the action or the gore or whatever, it's fine because the story and the acting are there to drive that type of drama.
Right.
Crime drama. They don't make a horror drama. They just make horror. You can have a horror comedy... but not a horror drama. Psychological thriller is a drama.
Sure.
Like Seven, that's a drama. If you want to bring it back, if you don't want to give it a genre title or genre being like horror, sci-fi, whatever, you can call it a drama, right? Psychological thriller, suspense thriller, all those, mystery. It's a drama because you are watching people act,
right,
and be dramatic. But horror, sci-fi, comedy.
there's a lot more involved, and it's a lot.
You need to bring what you're going to watch it for.
Yeah.
You're going to watch horror to be scared, and if I'm not scaring anybody, I have failed.
Yeah.
Because then you just got drama.
Yeah.
Wrapped in like a scary wrapping paper.
It's hard to sell it. Yeah.
Well, Cory, with that, thank you for sitting in. It's been.
Yeah, we're gonna have to do some more because there's so much like in the chamber. We got to another one. I might be able to get back over here next Saturday.
I will be in Vegas.
Oh, that's right. You're gone.
I'm trying to get a bunch of podcasts done this week so I can have them loaded up while I'm gone. But I will be back, obviously, 2 weeks.
Okay.
So not next Saturday, but the following, because we leave Sunday.
Okay.
I'll be giving you the car anyways, so.
We'll do another one.
All right.
Before you go.
Yes. Well, thank you, Cory.
Thanks for having me back.
I'm Matt Bonta.
And I'm Cory Easley.
Peace out, motherfucker.